What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 106 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, host Stefan Luffler at Junkwax Twins.
Howdy.
Ben Wilson at our trading cards, and I'm Tim Scheffler at Big Shep 79. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors, hoping to bring you these smart, insightful podcasts discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific,
10 Central,
on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live. Follow us on Twitter About the Cards. We'll be as a podcast pretty much everywhere. Check out the website, aboutthecards.wordpress.com. 9 years ago today, the Mike Trout made his Major League debut versus the Seattle Mariners and went 0 for 3. I'm sure we all could have done better than he did. But welcome in. We're going to get right into it. We have a very, very special guest, Brent Williams of Brent and Becca. And anybody remembers early on when the podcast started, there was a viewer drinking game that anytime we said Brent or Brent and Becca, people had to take a drink. And we had to tell people to stop because it got overwhelming.
A lot of people got schnockered.
Yeah. So,
highest of regards. Everything was very positive, but we mentioned you quite a bit. And I mean, we still do, but the drinking game is at your own risk. Do not do this at home.
Yes. So Brent, welcome. It took us a while to work it out, but to have you on, and it's during Series 2 release, and we're going to get into that, but we want to thank you so much for being on. I think a lot of collectors know who you are just via, the eBay store, and also Twitter. But just give us a little background on how you started Brent and Becca, what it's been like, and how long you've been doing it, and kind of what the day-to-day is for you.
Okay, sure. Well, first off, thanks for having me. It's great to be here finally. And you mentioned this is a smart podcast. I don't know about having me on here. I'm not, hey, invest your money in this. But that's where the hobby is these days. I got started. It's been about 25 years ago, almost. Just busting wax like most people. A lot of people do know my story, but basically I went into massive debt in college. In the late 90s, buying cards and memorabilia, so much so I was in debt. I want to say around $65,000 being in college, and that was not student debt, that was baseball card debt. Of course, eBay started around that time, and so I used Beckett Marketplace to begin, and then when eBay came in, I started using eBay, and I just started trying to piece off the stuff I didn't need. Like many collectors that collected in the 80s and 90s, you probably had 10, 20, 30, 40 copies of every card. I know I did. I bought box after box after box. And so I started parting with some stuff. And eventually that led to getting people with requests in the early 2000s. Like, oh, hey, I see that you have these cards. Do you open these cards? And I'm like, for me. But, it was 1 or 2 cases. And then it was 5 cases, then 10. And then eventually, I think I want to say 6 years ago, Series 1 maybe. First time we ever did 100 cases. And that is not because, I want all the cases out there and I want to open more. I don't. I am actively trying to cut back. I ordered less of Series 2 this year than the past 3 years and actually sold some cases sealed because it's too much work. It's just the amount of orders I had. And I always based my case orders off of what my pre-sale demand was. So yes, I had 100 cases worth of base sets or gold sets that are tough to build, pre-sold to customers like Ben, who wants an A's gold team set or whatnot. That takes 20 cases of Series 1. People don't realize that you can't make a gold set. People want to spend $10 on a 10-card gold set. I mean, realistically, they're getting a huge value because it would take you 20 cases at $600 a pop minimum, which, of course, now the market's like $1,000 a case, right? But those sets are not easy to build, and especially this year, which is one of the reasons I'm on tonight, I guess, to talk about the Collation issues. But that's where I am today, day in and day out. I don't get sleep. I try to sleep around 4 hours a day if I can. During a break for the first couple of weeks, it takes about 6 weeks to get through a series of 1, 2, or update because of the amount of sorting. And that's me with someone I hired now that's here full time. she is also here 20 hours a day.
Wow.
And then my wife helps a little bit. I shouldn't say a little bit. She helps a ton, but she's got a day job. So, I mean, she's here at night and the evenings and then, on the weekends. So she helps a lot too, but she does different things than she used to do. And she definitely takes more care of the house and family than we used to, but it's busy. And people always say, "Oh, well, between products, what do you do?" Are you kidding me? There's eBay orders every single day. There's always sorting. There's always listing. There's always something. I've got. I wish I could move my camera around, but I've got hundreds and thousands, literally over thousands of monster boxes full of cards that are not listed that need to be from the previous year. So
yeah,
product on top of product. So what can you do?
Yeah, no, that's yeah, I can only imagine the undertaking. I mean, we talked a little bit, like I've opened a little bit, like the most I've ever opened was a case of hobby and jumbo at the same time. And I thought like that was a lot of work and going through, and I can only imagine what it's like on that kind of scale and what that process and how organized you have to be. And I can tell you that, even before we really got to know each other through like Twitter and stuff, buying from eBay, and I could always know that it was going to show up. It was going to be exactly what I ordered. It's going to be in the best condition possible. And I'm going to get a great deal on it. And so that's the biggest thing. I mean, on my browser, one of my, bookmarks on the top of any browser I have at work, at home computer, is the Brent and Becca eBay page. So I click on it and just kind of see what's going on there, and every day or so, and pick up stuff. So we all appreciate you for doing all that work, and helps all of our collections grow.
It does. And one thing you touched on real quick before we move on, you had mentioned it takes X amount of cases to build a parallel team set, not just a master set. But I go to you for all of the flagship parallel sets, and I usually ask for 2 or 3 additional parallel sets, as well as Ginter and Stadium Club and some of the other ones that you have. I usually at least ask for the most common parallel set. Big League this year was the orange set, and I know you and I had a conversation, must be maybe 2 years ago now, where I think it was last year's Series 1. It was considerably more expensive. When I first started doing business with you, it was maybe $30, $40 for everything I wanted, and then it jumped to 100. And I'm like, whoa, why are we seeing a 2 to 3x? And you're like, listen, slow down your thinking. It's not like going on eBay and you pick one here, you pick one there. These guys are opening up some product and have 1 or 2 cards you need. You're coming to me for everything, and to pull everything, the pack odds are just suggesting that I need 20 cases, 30 cases to fill just your order, on top of countless other pre-orders. And for me as a collector, that was an eye-opening conversation where, like, wow, okay, I do have to kind of curb my my expectation of the associated cost. And we thank you for what you do, because not only do we use you for opening this stuff for us, but we also ask you to interpret eBay policies and pack odds for us, because it's like Brent's gonna know if we have a question. We'll just ask him, because he's already done that homework for us.
Try.
And part of that was. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say they changed some of the stuff. Like, we're used to get a gold card in every jumbo pack. That changed big time.
Yeah, production is off the charts, and I mean, Topps will argue and say, no, it's not. It's not like the 80s or 90s. Sure. But yes, gold cards were 1 per pack for over a decade. I counted on that. When they went to 1 and 2, you guys probably can't imagine my head exploding when you order your cases based off gold sets. And I had, at the time, this is 6 years ago, I had 11 gold set buyers that wanted a full gold set. And then you got guys, Mike Ben, who wants a team set. And so I was pre-selling around 13 gold sets, 2 by a team, 11 full sets. And that, I ordered, it depended on the series, usually around 72 to 80 cases. But then you get them in, and the pack odds are 1 and 2 for the first time ever. And my heart just dropped, because I'm like, it's not about the money, and people won't believe that, whatever. It's the fact that I have to go to collectors that I've dealt with for a decade and say, I can't get you what you want and what you pre-ordered from me. And that's difficult. And who do you choose to tell that to?
Right.
So that And then last series 1 last year, the odds went to 1 and 7. Mind blowing. I didn't know what to do, and so I couldn't sell a single gold set. And the other thing, and Ben knows this, the Ace had some good rookies, this year and stuff. But the gold and the prices are starting to reflect that, right? We're seeing like Luis Robert golds are selling for $250 right now. So a guy like Matt Chapman, right, who's a good ball player, but come on, I mean, he's not that popular, at least overall in the hobby, maybe in Oakland. But the point is, look at his gold prices. I mean, I'm just like, hello. I mean, I can't believe what these prices are. And for years, I sold these at $1 a card, right, for a team set. But now you're seeing a Matt Chapman gold may be $100, and a graded one could be $500. And I'm not saying that's the current price right now, but that's possible. And I remember selling Blake Snell gold cards for $1, and then he plays for the Rays. Come on, and then he got Cy Young or whatever. Those gold cards were $50 a pop overnight, and I'm just like, golly, I would have never thought. I sold Ray sets for $5. But yeah, the odds are harder. I'm actually profitability wise is way down, because you would think, oh, the price you're getting more per card. Yeah, but I was very content getting $1 per gold card when they were 1 per pack. Now, when they're 1 every 5, 6, 7 packs, and you're getting $2 or $3 a card, it doesn't add up. It's thankfully Topps though has added new colors, right? We didn't used to have the pinks and the blues and the camos, but those are impossible to get. I mean, I opened 84 cases and I got 40 vintage stock out of 84 cases, because Collation out of whack. They're supposed to be 1 per case. They were not for me. They were 1 every other case. Collation is so out of whack.
Yeah, let's get into it. You sent out a tweet that said I hit 0 in 84 cases. This you're talking about the short print, the super short prints. Just like I hit 0 SSSPs in 100 Series 1 cases. Often I think those get packed out differently. For Series 1, none popped for like a week, like Polar Bear, and then they started showing up, or perhaps in later pack outs of retail SKUs, etc. So, like, what in Series 2, what collation issues have you seen? Because you're opening a large amount of products, so you're getting a very good view of what it can be. And so what have you seen?
Yeah, the SSSPs, the ones like the triple rookies and stuff. I mean, that is what it is. I talked to Topps years ago about how things are packed out and the order that things are packed out. So that kind of explains some of those things. But in terms of what you're talking about right now, the collation issues, it's just, I'm sure not Topps, because it's the printers, right, in Dallas. I'm sure that they are just so behind schedule and they're pumping out this stuff as fast as they can. I saw it a little bit with the products that were released the week before, the Pro Debut, the Big League, the Finest. I saw some collation issues there. But this was different. And what I mean by that is, we're just now starting to sort the base cards of Series 2 this week. And before we went on air, you were talking about, we literally have 150 copies of one card and 50 of another. So that's a big nightmare right now, trying to send out complete sets, which I've sold over 450 of already. We've got player lots, team sets, so that the gold cards, we're missing several gold cards out of 84 cases. We don't have any. So I pre-sold only 2 team sets of each team. That's it. No, I told all my gold set buyers, sorry, no gold sets beforehand, because the prices are crazy and I don't know how many I'm going to get. So you would think in 84 cases, I should be able to get 2 sets. I mean, technically I should have been able to get 6 if collation was perfect, but I didn't. So it's just, but in terms of the hits, that's the issue. For example, in jumbo cases, the red number to 25 patch parallels of the relic cards are 1 in 4 cases, and I hit 0 of them. Yet, as we've seen, like Big Poppy 34, I think, on Twitter, Andrew, he opened a case and every single box had a red patch in it, every box. And then I hit 0 numbered to 50 autograph relics. They're called Major League Material Auto Relics. Those are also 1 in 4 cases. I hit 0. Yet I hit the number to 25 patch auto red parallels 11 times, which was on with the odds pretty much. I think I hit one more than I should have. I saw a lot of that. There was a lot of boxes missing hits. That happened in Pro Debut as well. The Pro Debut Jumbo was supposed to have 3 autos per box. A lot of my boxes only had 2. I've seen that in breaks as well. So a lot of missing hits in the Jumbo cases for me, missing autos and relics. So I don't know. I think the pack out just, I guess they push through. You can tell by the quality control. The cards are in good shape this year. I like the stock that they used and everything, and they're cut really nice. But some of the stuff, I just think I'm trying to be lenient because I know that they're behind. I mean, they just shipped blasters this week. I mean, Target, Walmart, us, nobody has blasters. I was the first person today to list those Topps player medallions that are from blasters, and they sold out instantly. Yeah, I didn't hit a single athletic, but they sold out within 5 minutes because everyone's been looking for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So speaking to Jumbo, what's your opinion on Topps dropping the player medallion cards as a hit in Jumbo?
What do you mean by dropping them?
Because they didn't used to have them in Jumbo, but 2-3 years ago they added them as an additional hit or quoted hit.
Yeah, I mean those don't add much value, so it doesn't bother me as much. I know going into it, I do think that the value for not only Jumbo but Hobby as well is not what it used to be. They also are not consistent. You know, for years the red autographs were Hobby exclusive. If y'all know anything about the red, like the 83s, 84s, and then all of a sudden they started putting them in Jumbo, which was unannounced. That took from the value of Hobby all of a sudden. And it's like they started putting Hobby exclusive hits into retail, right? Like printing plates, you never saw that. Those went into retail, exclusive cards. And so I don't know, they change it all the time. The inconsistency of numbering drives me nuts too. I'm sure it drives set collectors crazy. For example, in Series 1, all the relic cards, the manufactured relics, they had black, which were numbered to 149. And even though the regular relics were 199, again, but this series for Series 2, because production is always cut usually in half for Series 2, it's not quite in half for this year for the first time in many, many years, but they're numbered to 50. They've never done a black number to 50, and they made golds number to 25. Golds has always been to 50.
Right.
That's so inconsistent. You can't do that. And Topps doesn't seem to care or think about the collector, the end collector. I don't care about me. I'm not talking about the breaker and the value, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about someone that wants to make a set of those. Well, now all of a sudden you went from 50 golds to 25. That means the price is going to go up. Your collection is going to be inconsistent. It's going to be harder to find. And it's just, they do that with all the products, right? I mean, Bowman's like, sometimes golds are to 50, sometimes they're to 25. Sometimes, with all the new SKUs of Sapphire and, it's the coloring. I wish that, blacks were always to this number. Golds were always to this number. Reds were always to this number. How come reds sometimes are to 75 and then they're to 5 and then they're to 10? It's so confusing. It changes values of things. So that I don't understand. I don't get it. If production has to increase, it's very simple to me. Instead of changing numbering, all you have to do is make a new parallel, right, or color, which they've done many, 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 many times, or make an unnumbered parallel to add for that value for the production increase. And when it decreases, hey, give the value there. I mean, you got to know that going in, budget it for the year.
What is your thought with like the talking about the value, now that they put the silver packs as box toppers, and this year in Series 2 they put the turkey red Decades Best Chrome and the jumbos, where those were in the retail 10s in Series 1, which leads me to think there's not going to be retail Series 2 10s.
Right.
But what do you think that does as far as adding that extra value being in there? Because sometimes you'd go to the LCS, buy your jumbo box, and they wouldn't. Oh, we're out of those packs.
Yes,
and then
100%. 100% support that move by Topps. It should have been in pack the whole time. I don't know why. They may say it was a timing issue, but I mean, it costs more for them not to put them in the boxes because they had to have separate boxes for those. They had to ship separately. et cetera, et cetera. So I'm glad they're in there. It's more fair for the collector. It's more fair for everybody. They can't really be searched, although I don't know they can. I know some people say they can be weighed. Maybe. I don't personally think so. I mean, you can't know what's in there. But I'd rather hit a Louis Robert base than 95% of what's in those packs. But the silver packs were horrible for me. It's the worst silver packs I've ever opened. I was going 10 packs without hitting a color. I would go 200 packs without seeing an autograph, but that's beside the point. Shoot, I just lost my train of thought. The decade's best. Again, talk about consistency, right? That was unannounced. So that I'm grateful they did it. But yes, I agree. I don't think there's going to be 10s that could be due to COVID. That could be just due to the Series 2 production being down. I'm glad they did, because Series 2, as we all know, was selling astronomically higher than it should, way above cost. So that helped on the value, because if Robert wasn't in this,
well, it's trash.
This product is trash. Yes, it's one of the worst Series 2s I've ever seen. There's nothing in it as far as stars. So
yeah, we talked.
Thank goodness for him.
The next best player, I think we talked about, was Chris Bryant, Charlie Blackmon, Reese Hoskins. Like,
yeah, nah. Doesn't sell anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sweet Lou Trevino was part of the A's team set. I don't know why you guys are mad dogging him, but real quick, Brent.
And then there were 107 Ranger cards because they wanted to put that cool logo on it. And I don't think we forgot to get into that because they forgot the Rangers in
they
series.
Forgot them.
Come on.
Yeah. So
let's be honest.
So a lot of times people say, what's my ROI on something, which is, return on investment. Anybody who runs this as a business, they mean internal rate of return, or IRR, which means for every dollar you spend, you have to get X amount of dollars back. So for somebody like you, where you buy 100 cases of something and you're basing it off of pre-sales, and I've got to have X in these packs, because if I'm not getting these auto relics out of 50, which even on the average sale price of, say, $10 a pop, if you were going to get 10 of them, that's a $100 bill out of your pocket. Maybe they compensate you by throwing Decade's Best in there, but that should be something else and not. Your pack odds, right?
Right.
Correct. So how does poor collation affect your bottom line, your IRR in that sense, where you're anticipating I'm throwing X thousands of dollars at my distributor, and I need so much money back, and then my pack odds. Do we need to mention the 28 wood minis of Allen and Ginter as well? But, things that literally are affecting your bottom line. How does that affect you moving forward the next time a product drops and your thought process?
It doesn't, because, what can you do? I'm sure I've been on the receiving end a few times. I know I have. Nothing like this. It's not like, I've hit something every case or every box that I shouldn't. And usually when you see that, it's a small run. So those things happen. I've opened for over 20 years. I've opened 500 plus cases a year, which I know now in the world of group breakers, that's not a lot. I understand that. But I'm doing like more base tops and Ginter than anybody on the face of the planet have forever. And I see these things spread out. And so it doesn't really affect my thought process going forward, because it happens. I've seen it happen. I remember when Strasburg came out, you mentioned Allen Ginter, and he was supposed to be inserted in there as a rookie card and as a mini rookie card. And I opened 30 cases and hit 0. And Mark Sapir, who was vice president of Topps at that time, battled me on Twitter saying they're inserted as regular. There's no less short printed of those than anything else. We argued for that for a month. And I think now on Becca, you can find where Topps finally changed their tune and said, only 100 got out in packs or were made or something. And I was like, yeah, I opened 30 cases and got 0. And, something like Jumbo, when it's 84 cases, I didn't run the amount of cases. Normally it's like 2,600 cases, but the production keeps going up. So maybe there's 3,000 cases. It's still a significant part of the print run that I'm opening,
sure.
Percentage wise. And I don't see some things. So that happens. It doesn't really impact me. Sure, it affects the bottom line, but everything affects the bottom line. I used to try to get 150% of my money back. And what's funny is when the market was bad, right, in the late 2000s, what do we call those? The aughts, the O's, I don't know. 2007, 8, 9, 10, where there was no rookies and all that stuff. I made my best money. There was hardly any competition. Group breaking didn't exist. The production was fairly low compared to what it was now. My customers were more loyal. There wasn't two bros. I mean, things changed. Postage was nothing back then, right? I mean, I could mail a card for 50 cents. So the return on investment's way down compared to what it used to be. So I have to open more as well to try to keep my dollar amount. And I mean, to be honest, since the judge year, I make less money every year. My distributors charge me more for cases, shipping costs more, PayPal charges more and keeps fees on returns, right? Or refunds, whatever. eBay charges more, and now they have managed payments, and I mean, just everything costs. And I'm paying an employee now, which I did not have, 14 months ago or however long it's 12 months ago. Everything is what it is, and I can't control the pack outs. I don't even contact Tops on those cases because it's not even worth it. And I mean, anytime that I have, they're like, well, we don't have 100 cases worth of short prints. When one time I was shorted short prints completely, didn't get any. If you recall, I think last year, Series 1 had 0 short prints in jumbo, even though they were on the pack odds. They did not get put out into jumbo. I got 0. What am I supposed to do? I mean, I have set buyers for those things, but they're like, well, we don't have that many short prints. We can send you what we have, which is a small stack. And by the time I got them a month later, they were worthless. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's part of doing business. I used to gripe about those things. I do tweet about them some, and please, anyone listening, every once in a while, someone will jump on my case and they complain, well, at least you could get 100 cases. I'm not trying to complain. I am blessed. God has blessed me. I love my family. I love my life. I love the cards they get. I'm just trying to present facts to people so they know going into it that this is possible, good or bad. And unfortunately, a lot of times it is more negative, and it's just because things are more inconsistent now than ever. When productions go from 1,000 cases to 3,000, I think that gives you a lot more room for error too, right? I mean, you could see 100 case run not packing out properly. I mean, some of these base cards that we're missing, where are they? Did they get destroyed? Did they not get printed? Did they not get cut? Did they all get packed out into a later SKU to where now you're opening and getting 150 of those and 50 of these? I don't know. We'll never know. The Allen & Ginter Woods, right? We talk about that. Everybody talks about those. Where are those?
They're still looking for them.
Yes. I mean, things happen. It shouldn't, but it does. And
we appreciate it because it opens, collectors get an idea because they're not opening as much. And if they're going to take their money and they're going to go spend now $200 for a jumbo box, which is mind-boggling, when a year ago, even Series 2 a year ago, jumbo box was maybe 130, 140 with those 4 big rookies in it, plus you throw in Guerrero. It was like, okay, that makes sense. And now it's 200, and there's one guy you're chasing,
and no short prints, right?
And a hobby box is almost $100. Like, knowing that going in, it helps people kind of decide where they maybe should put their money versus not. And if you have cases, like I had an extra case of jumbo I'd ordered. I canceled it because I was like, I don't. There's not going to be. It's going to take me so long to make the money back because the pre-order price was so much higher than it was before. And we have a question that was in the chat a while ago, but they wanted to know if you get to buy directly from Tops, or you said you work with a distributor. Now, have you seen, with the amount that you're buying from your distributor every year, are you being affected with any allocation numbers that way?
Yes. I cannot buy direct from Tops. I tried years ago to do that because I was told by the vice president of Tops I ordered more cases than any hobby shop that they sold direct to. There wasn't a hobby shop that even came close to my orders, but he said we're not allowed to do that. So I do go through distributors. I have never been cut or raise my price until this year, and it's happening big time to so much so where, I mean, I know I talk about this a lot, especially because of family stuff. I probably won't be doing this next year because I was told if I want product at all next year, A, it won't be the amounts I'm accustomed to, and B, I'm going to have to pay market price, which means if I want, tops 2, it's $1,400 a case, literally is what they told me. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I pay $500 now. Okay. Just to give you an idea of what my jumbo cost is. So I just can't do that. There's no money to be made in there. I don't double my money on this stuff. Even if I did, let's say I made $1,000 for every $500 case, which I don't, but I mean, you're talking, then you got eBay fees on that, PayPal fees, shipping fees, etc. People want to buy base sets on eBay for $25 shipped. It costs like $10 to ship a set, even flat rate. Time you add the box and eBay takes the shipping fee and PayPal, you don't make anything for all your work for that stuff. It's just not worth it. The stress that I go through, unfortunately, and the thing that takes up most of my times are emails, texts, and stuff like that. Where I love all my customers.
Guilty.
I have hundreds of direct customers, and some of them are older and very impatient, and they buy a lot of stuff, so they want to know what I have all the time. But then you have the eBay people, and the eBay people have been a lot more patient, thankfully. So, but there's so many emails a day, so many tweets. Yeah. I'm, as you might have noticed, and I hate this. This is the one thing I don't like. I'm not on Twitter as much as I used to be. I used to tweet out all my hits. I don't have time anymore because every time you tweet out a hit, 15 people will say, how much for this? How much? And I don't have time. So it's like, I can't negotiate with 15 people, and I don't want to. I just want to throw it on eBay and what it goes for. I'm sorry. I mean, I do that a lot because there's a lot of people that want that card now. There wasn't 10 years ago. Ben was the only one that ever wanted A's. So I could say, here, Ben, have them for $1. I don't care. Take them off my hands. They suck. They still suck. But, everybody wants to overpay for rookies now, right? I mean, give me Luis Robert, maybe the greatest player ever, but you know what? I'd rather have 15 Mike Trout rookies than one of his SPs, which is literally the SSP version, right? Where you don't even see his face. It's his back running away. It's a cool picture. Don't get me wrong. But, sure. I mean, I can go buy 15 Mike Trouts for that. I mean, raw, sure. But, I mean, I don't know. It just – and not 15. If anybody puts in comments, not 15, I know, but you can buy several Mike Trout rookies for that.
and on top of everything, you get a chucklehead that texts you Monday morning saying, "Hey Brent, I know you have nothing better to do on a Wednesday night. You want to hop on for a while with us?" I mean, it's just imagine the text messages that you probably get. I feel bad enough when I send you.
Don't ever feel bad. Don't feel bad at all. I've gotten to where I put my phone away. That's why sometimes I don't respond for a day. I used to pride myself on responding to everybody within 5 minutes, but now everybody's turned into 1,000 people, and it's impossible, and I don't get enough work done. So I put the phone away, for a day if I have to at a time, and check everything once a day. But it's busy. It's a lot of demand and stress, and I mean, things like pack out and stuff mess with that. Big? Yeah, I do. I do. It's not like it used to be. I mean, like I hit a 101 Trout auto in this, right? And the first thing I said is, it's a sticker. But a lot of stuff is sticker in this, and it's understandable. So, but, and I think there's probably like 50 Trout 101s in this product just because of his own decade set and all the significant signature stats that he has. I mean, so it is what it is. But yeah, I do get excited. I mean, sadly, I'm getting more excited when I hit a nice SP of a rookie or a gold of a rookie because those things have taken off, and it's like that's where the value is now.
It's what the market wants. And I remember having a conversation with you, I think late last year, and we were talking about your health and the stress and the time, and you may be bowing out of this or at least cutting back. And again, I want to reiterate that we would much rather have you, a brother of the hobby, around for the long haul, even if that means we have to go elsewhere for a lot of our cards, than to have you kill yourself because we need a gold foil and a rainbow foil and 150th anniversary and whatever stupid set they drop on us at the very last minute saying, hey, guess what? I need one of those too. If this is hurting your health at all and it's stressful, it's like, just go get a day job and be a collector with us. And as much as we would hate to not have you as such a great asset as a breaker, we'd much rather have you, around the hobby. And, I remember having that conversation sometime last year, and if next year is the year that we lose you as a breaker, then hey, So
yeah, I
so be it,
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I didn't think about my health for a long time, but my doctors talked to me, and I've had some things go on in the past 12 months that I've never experienced. We all probably will, right? We're getting older in our 40s or whatnot. At least I am. And so he's told me it's having a definite impact, and he's showing me how, because I go see him quite regularly now because of issues. And so, yeah, I mean, the reason I stick around is the hobby. It's guys like you, Ben, Tim. I sell to so many people, and I built those relationships. And when I do tell someone I'm thinking about this, or I was like, well, what am I going to do? I'm like, oh, I mean, Two Bros is pretty good, and I mean, the reality is things is going to change for everyone, because people can't do. There were so many people that did what I did for a lot of years. I mean, I can rattle off their eBay user IDs. They have gone away because, I mean, they can't afford the cases. They can't get the cases, and it's not practical from a return on investment standpoint to do what I do. It's not anymore. It's better to, if you're going to do what I do, buy a few cases, send every rookie to PSA, every gold rookie to PSA. Right now, that's where it is, because here I am selling these raw cards, like from Series 1, Bo Bichette's and stuff, and lots of 10 for $100. I'm like, my mind's going crazy. I'm like, man, I'm getting $10 for a base rookie card and lots of 10. Are you kidding me? But then those same people come back to me and say, Brent, I submitted the 100 Bo Bichette's that you sent me, and 91 came back PSA 10. And I'm like, what? And I'm selling them for $130 on eBay. I'm like, what? And I don't grade. So it's like, man, the ball game has changed. Everything's focused towards group breaking. Topps is making products towards group breaking.
Right.
Everything's changed, and I haven't changed. I haven't adapted. And that's one of the things that Ben and I kind of talked about last year with the prices being higher. I have to adapt. I have to look at changing prices. I have to look at, because I can't do this and lose money. I've always said I would do it if I broke even, although I can't say that anymore because my family costs too much to support. But that was always my goal when I started this, was to break even. But it's so much time out of my life that I have to, recoup something. And thankfully I've been blessed to be able to. But sadly, most of my profits now, guys, being completely honest, comes from the small allotment of stuff like Bowman that I get, that I still get at cost at $1,000 a case, and I can flip it for $4,000 a case. That's where my profit comes from. And you're like, yeah, but see, Bowman I was cut way back on this year. I used to be able to get 60 Bowman, and this year I was down to 17, which I know some people are going to say, I can't get one. I understand that. But please know that I'm spending $1 million a year, and I was told by my distributor that that's nothing anymore. Brent, 5 years ago, you were the best customer we had. Now you're not in the top 50. They told me that just 2 months ago. You're not in the top 50. Wow. There are people spending $10 million plus a year with them. And I understand the game has changed. Investors are in this. Group breakers are going full force. There's cases that cost 25, 30 grand, like Transcendence coming. And how many Transcendence do we got now? Are you kidding me? I mean, and so that adds up.
Soccer, yeah. Bowman's got one coming up, I think. Yeah, it's got
and
5
look
or
at
6
first off the line in these Dutch auctions, boxes starting at $30,000 a box. I bought National Treasures first off the line last year for $1,500, like the rest of the world, and this year it starts at $30,000 on a basketball, that is, on a Dutch auction. Hello, is there greed in this hobby? Yes, 100%. I can't be greedy, and people may say, how is that possible? I get the cases, I open them, I sell them on the open market. Whatever I get is what I get. Right. I can't say, I'm holding this card hostage, because there's tons of those cards. I just get what I get. I'm not sitting here, saying, hey, let's Dutch auction this stuff at $30,000. I mean, I don't get that. It cuts out true collectors completely. And I understand they're in business to be a business. So I don't fault them, but I just don't understand the pricing that this stuff is at. I don't think it's sustainable. I'm surprised by it, but it's a different ball game right now. Eventually, as we know, all markets crash. It will at some point. There's no big rookies in basketball next year, although people may be hungry for second-year guys or hungry. I mean, I do think that's one reason Luis Robert is so high dollar. He should have never been this high dollar, ever. but there's no other rookies to chase. People were hungry after COVID for months of not having anything new to chase. Hey, because if you look at Luis Robert, go look at his Gypsy Queen cards. You can buy them for $1. That was his first product, other than the short print out of opening day. But it was his first base card. Those cards are nothing. I can't believe these Topps cards are selling with it. I still am getting auctions going over $20 for his base card. I sold a lot of 15 the other night. It went for $22 a card. It sold for $325 at auction. It had 26 bids, I think, and multiple people have contacted me saying, "Hey, I'll give you $325 for a lot of 15." And I'm just like, I can't believe that. I mean, why? When Bo Bichette, Gavin Lux, Jordan Alvarez, none of those sell for $10. I mean, this guy's 22. I mean, Acuna took a year to get to that kind of level, and Soto just got there, a few months ago. I don't know. It's a new ball game. I'm still learning about this stuff too because it's not what I'm accustomed to.
I think we all are. We've talked about this ever since really Judge came in. The game has changed, and just to give an example, like a Bowman box was a jumbo box was like $150, and it would work its way up to a few $100s. Right. Now we're just starting there. We just said, forget it. We're just going to jump halfway through the race and start there. It's crazy. What is your favorite? We want to wrap this up. We've taken 40 minutes of your time, and we really appreciate it. But we have two last questions here. What is your favorite release every year that you're the most excited to open?
All of them. My favorite release. I mean, it's so funny because you're like, Series 1 can be, even at 84 cases, even though it's mundane, it's the same card. It's fun because there's every 10 cases, there's a nice card that you haven't seen. I would say Heritage is my favorite. Although every time I say that and Ginter comes out, I'm like, oh, no, Ginter's my favorite. And I know that's a polarizing product because some people hate it because there's non-baseball in there. But that's what makes it so good for me. It is the only thing I get to open that's not baseball. It is baseball, but you know what I mean? It has other people in it. It's exciting to get an autograph of someone from another sport that you don't see all the time, or an entertainer. I like the cards. I like that there's still minis in there, unlike Gypsy Queen that should have minis in it. So I would say Ginter. Right. Heritage is close, though.
And if you could only own one card that you currently own, and it's the only sports card you can own, what would it be and why?
And why is it an A's card? Because they don't suck. Brent, come on, man.
Well, Yusha would have said my Canseco 86 rookie, so there. But no, it's got to be my Jordan Flair rookie. I mean, yeah, when I grew up in the 80s, the only thing I collected in basketball was Jordan, and then it eventually went to Pippen and Rodman. But the Athletics were my favorite team growing up. Probably a lot of people because they were good in the 80s, and the Bash Brothers and stuff. I had a ton of Cansecos and McGuire's and stuff. But, yeah, I would have to be the Jordan card, and it's just because, it's Jordan. What other card? Well, the question should have been, what card have I sold that I wish I owned? And that list would be
which one's that?
Well, there's when I left the bank and I got into this full time, I got desperate for money. And I shouldn't have, because I had a little bit saved up, and I sold a LeBron Jordan dual patch autograph #1. I sold it for like $1,700 on eBay, and I think literally, I sold a Tom Brady PSA 10 Contenders rookie auto for nothing. It was $2,000. I think those things are like $200,000 today, and I don't know what they are. Y'all would know. I haven't looked for a year because it makes me sick, but they're up there.
I would.
But the best card, by the way, I'll show this really quick. The best thing I ever sold, by the way, was from UD Black basketball, like 20 years ago. It was from Hardcourt. Hardcourt, every Hardcourt box had one UD Black redemption per box, and they were dirt cheap. Like, I was getting them for $40 a box, and the UD Black redemption, which was an unknown that you didn't know what it was it was just a mystery. Those were selling for like 40 to 60. And it was like, this is great. And I sold this one to a guy, and the guy contacted me back. And he said, do you know what you sent me? I was like, no. He's like, it was a grand prize winner. I got to go meet Michael Jordan, go to his basketball camp with Dean Smith and all these legends from UNC. And he's like, the trip was worth like $11,000 at the time. This was 20 years ago. And I was like, no, it's priceless, man. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I couldn't believe I had that. But anyways.
Well, Brent, we really appreciate the time and the expertise.
Yeah, sorry I took up too long. I know I talk a lot, but
We would talk to you for our YouTube chat is going nuts with people are like, this is the best interview I've heard, or this is a great interview. Just so you know, I think if you gave us 2 more hours, we probably still would have questions coming out of the wazoo with people that wanted. One of our comments, said it's great to have an established hobby icon discuss today's hobby. It's riveting, and that just kind of shows you the respect that so many of us have, and appreciate your friendship.
I thank you for that too. That's the most important thing to me is relationships, and I'm kind of shocked by that because the world has moved to group breaking, and so many people love their group breakers. They break with 1 or 2 guys, and they love that community they're in. I don't have that, and I do wish I did, like a live stream constantly or something. I think that's one reason group breaks are so successful and popular, and I think that's great for the hobby. I am not against group breaks, by the way. I think they're wonderful. I just think that the industry and business has changed completely, and things are way overpriced. And I'm not blaming it on group breakers. I'm just saying it is what it is, and it's a different thing. But I'm glad to hear that, and that does makes me feel humble, and it encourages me to continue doing it.
No, one last thing. We have the hobby hotline that we do every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. our time, so 10 your time. If you ever have a Saturday morning around 10 a.m. your time and you'd like to come on as a featured guest and answer some questions from listeners and fellow collectors, we would absolutely love to have you for an hour and let some of our friends and fellow collectors and brothers and sisters in the hobby, I'm sure would love to have some direct access to having some of their questions answered as well. So
I would love to. Let me slow down on Series 2 just a little bit because Saturdays are a busy shipping day, but I am awake at that time still, and I would love to. So, it's definitely not a problem.
The only guy that has a 25-hour clock.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I say all the time, I wish I could just hit a pause button on the time and I could, because I feel so behind all the time, but it is what it is. So
thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
You provide such a great service, and you do such a great job with everything. I'm never worried when I place an order with you that there's going to be any issue whatsoever. And I was privileged a few years ago when you started, and I became on the direct mail thing, and I thought I would get a heads up from you, and I was like, I've made it.
Yeah.
So
that list is long.
We all appreciate you. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you guys. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't do this. So thank you.
Well, enjoy the rest of your Series 2 sorting. We all know how fun it is to sort base.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brent.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great night, Brent. Thank you.
God bless.
The great Brent Williams. Guys, that was the most awesome. We've had a Pro Bowler. We've had minor league stars. We've had all kinds of people on this show. We have artists doing Project 2020. Hands down, that was amazing.
Definitely. Yeah. We have a hobby icon Steph with us every week. Human card dictionary, encyclopedia,
database.
Database.
He's a big DB. We're gonna get into it. We have a really great show tonight. We have a lot to cover, and I appreciate everybody's comments in here. It's been great. We'll hop into the week that was last week's releases. Topps Living Week 121. We had card 325, Jorge Polanco, shortstop, Minnesota Twins. So just a few shy of 1,900. We had card 326, Dustin May, rookie pitcher of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You had
and he sold just over 2,300 cards. Not a bad week. Kind of what we'd speak about. We'd have about every week. So. Not shocking. So, did you pick up your Polanco stuff?
I have some people working on it. I have my squirrels out.
There you go.
It's a $5 card. Just buy it from Topps Living Stat and move on. That's
like I said,
what you're supposed to do.
Out.
Okay, I have enough Conan O'Brien. Check out Topps Living Stat for full breakdown of where these cards fall respectively in the set by team and position. We had 1920 Upper Deck Engrained Hockey, 1920 Panini Spectra Basketball, and 2020 Panini Legacy Football. And I did see somebody pull an Aaron Rodgers auto, but come on now, there's a lot of other things in there, so they're quite lucky. Hot off the presses, this week's new releases. Topps Living Week 122, card 327, Hall of Famer, Eddie Murray. Not Eddie Murphy, Eddie Murray, first baseman, Baltimore Orioles with the chops. Like, that's 1978. That's 1978 Eddie Murray. If you look back, his 78 Topps card, I'm pretty sure it's a very similar photo. And then card 328, Sean Murphy, rookie catcher of the Oakland Athletics. This means next week we're going to have a Royal or a Giant. I'm just telling you.
I mean, the Sean Murphy is awesome. The eyes, the catcher's mask. I mean, it's just such a beautiful card. But that Eddie Murray dude with the fro popping out of the side of the old school Baltimore Orioles, the mud chops. That is when I saw that, I was just like, well done. There aren't very many cards in this Topps Living set that are better than that Eddie Murray, and that's saying
he looks like he's going to come around and beat you. Like, what'd you say?
I'm sure that guy could roll out of bed tomorrow and hit 300 in today's game. I mean, Eddie Murray was he was a legend, but that card is ridiculous. That is such a beautiful card. Great week for me personally with Murphy, but
sharp. And like the Orioles, they haven't had a card since August, which was John Mean, who's Bean's boy.
Yep.
2020 Topps Archive Signature Series Retired Player Edition dropped $50 a box, 1 pack per box, 1 card per pack. It's a 1 buyback autograph. There's 110 autograph subjects. Topps didn't release a specific list of the cards, the print runs, etc. on these, but there are going to be a lot of buybacks. Top used vintage cards, modern, and also insert cards for the players to sign. They have some dual autographs, which are pretty cool. The cards come in case in a one-touch, and each one gets stamped with the gold foil noting it's part of the 2020 Archive Signature Series, so you'll know what it's from. Some of the star players in this: Bronson Arroyo, Bernie Carbo, Jeff Cirillo, Vern Law, and Steve Rogers.
Love it. I mean,
I'll give you Vern Law and not that Steve Rogers.
In fact, there's also a Joe Mauer sighting, and I had sent Tim a message saying that's why this is, the retired series and not the Hall of Fame series, because,
the thing is I saw our buddy Christopher from Crack and Wax. He had a whole bunch of. He opened 2 cases, and I think he had like 11 1-of-1s or something crazy like that. And don't hit me on the numbers, but it was quite a few 1-of-1s. My thing is though, who knows really, because Topps doesn't release Eddie Murray, like in there, all of the Bronson Arroyo cards. He could have 10 cards and they all could be 1-of-1s. So I don't know how that works out because they don't release like how many 1-of-1s each guy has. So
and not only that, but they don't. They just drop the list of names. They don't say, "Hey, this guy only signed 19. This guy signed 99. This guy had 50. This guy had 7."
Yeah,
or how they numbered them. So it's just kind of a crapshoot. But for $50, I mean, you probably could find them for a really good price on the secondary market. 2020 Panini.
It is a strong checklist. It is. I know we're not fans of this. But it's not the worst checklist that they've ever had. And even if you're buying on the secondary market, there's a lot of good stuff in there for any team or player collector.
I will stop 20 Topps ass when they rename it.
Yes. 2020 Panini Absolute Baseball drops Friday. It's supposed to be today. They pushed it to Friday. It's a $200 box. 2 packs per box, 10 cards per pack, 4 autos, 2 mem cards, 4 insets, 2 parallels, 100-card base set. The first standalone baseball release of the product of Absolute since 2005. It's made a couple of appearances in Chronicles, including last year. The tools of the trade signatures, those are going to be sought after, and they have multiple swatches with 2 swatches, 3 swatches, 4 or 6. Rookie baseball material signatures use a ball leather as a signing surface, similar to the old Upper Deck Sweet Spot, but let's hope they don't fade like Sweet Spot did. And then they also have some cool. They have a couple of rookie inserts that are pretty cool. The 1-2 punch showcases 10 pairs of teammates. Right there, you have Puck and Luzardo, and then they have rookie roundups that's made up of 25 young players. So
it's kind of funny that I like the product back in the day. I never opened any. I've just seen plenty of it. I do like that they brought back tools of the trade. I just wish that, and maybe it is, this is just the one mock-up in which we have, they used more than just plain jerseys, because at least for the latter half of the tools of the trade, they'd have like jersey, bat, shoe, glove,
Hat.
whatnot, which is really kind of a cool concept.
No, yeah, that would be neat to see. But yeah, it's popping out on Friday. Also this week, 2020 Panini Chronicles Collegiate Draft Picks football drops Friday, $205 a box. I don't know why I didn't put how many packs and boxes there in there, but you're going to get 3 autographs, 1 mem card, and 2 parallels. Good work, Tim.
Heck yeah.
It's you know why? It's because I had to write down all of the sets. It makes up there's 16 sets that make up Chronicles. And let's look real quick and see how many packs per box. There's 6 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. 16 sets to make it up. Guys, ready? Let's do this list. Chronicles, Absolute, Certified, Crown Royal, Donruss, Donruss Optic, Downtown, Elite, Limited, Phoenix, Playoff, Prestige, Prism, Select, Spectra, XR. The Downtown inserts are tough, landing probably 1 per case. And that's all.
Which sounds about right. Given previous products, Downtown does go to about 1 a case.
But they did this crap with baseball last year, and some of them were fantastic. And Select was one of them, and Select got its own baseball release this year. I hate when they do this hodgepodge of crap all at once, because some of this stuff like Crown Royal is a gorgeous product on its own. It really is. And when they did that back in like 2012,
are you going to buy? Are you going to buy? This is 16 college releases. I mean, this is just to squeeze out a few products.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a dump at the end of the latrine, man.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if they're using it as a test market to see which people see which designs and sets people like, to see which one should get a new release in the future.
Maybe.
It's so complicated if you're opening it as a collector, because you like a little bit of this, and I get it, right? It's like a smorgasbord or a buffet of cards, like you said, Steph. Maybe that's what it is, a test market. But last year when I had the baseball, and they're all in a binder together because technically they're the same release, and they're on a page together, and you just look at it like, this is gross. That's cool, and that's cool, but this one's ugly. And they had like the score caricature cards in there, and it was just like, dude, come on, man. It was too much. I guess I get it. It seems like a cheap attempt at a money grab. That's how it appears to me, at least.
Yeah. So check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more detail on a lot of these releases. What's brewing next week's releases? 2019-2020 Panini Obsidian Basketball, 2020 Panini Luminance Football, 1920 Upper Deck Stature Hockey. Up in Infield Chatter, our Hobby Talk section part of the show, the Hobby Hotline.
Hello.
It will be live this Saturday on Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And make sure you check out Monday Night Heat live Monday nights on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Call in and hang out.
Yeah, if I called in and had a question Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, who would I be? Who would I be talking to?
John Newman?
And
maybe one of us?
Possibly one of us. I mean, we don't. Sorry. I guess
it's been a busy week. I have not looked. Yeah.
So yeah, you'll be listening.
Panini is a cheap attempt at a cash grab thing.
It is, but hey, Panini Prism color is awesome. And if you have any,
that's why you saying that, and then you agreeing with a lot of people on Twitter almost had me like call like at the mental hospital, come and pick you up, put you in a straitjacket in a padded room in observation for like 72 hours.
Come over to my house and you'll enjoy all of the color, dude. I mean, the teal wave is gorgeous. The white wave is gorgeous. The shimmer, which are out of 7, are gorgeous. By the way, Hobby Hotline, at least I think it's John Newman, it's Dan Anderson, and it's Tim Shepler, your 7-Eleven hosts. So, but no, Panini Prism, gorgeous color, man. The blue are popping. The red, white, and blue are gorgeous. At least that's me. I don't mind the unlicensed stuff because I love the color on it.
Yep. Beggar's Cup. You guys have a Beggar's Cup? So there's a former Major League Baseball player that does. At Joshy T.O. on Twitter. TTM success. Rafael Palmeiro never had this as part of a return, but he included a self-addressed stamped envelope. So Then there's a note in here. He has 3 autographs by Palmero, which is an 91 upper deck, a 92 tops, and a 91 Fleer, the greatest set of all time. And a note: thank you for your autograph request. I'm happy to sign for you. My rate is $20 per autograph. Please send cash or check or Venmo at Raphael-Palmero.
That's the
My favorite
awesomest
thing is
I've ever
the cards
seen.
are autographed. So, okay, so he is going to send you like to Collections because you didn't pay the $60.
Now I want to send him a flat rate shipping with $20 in pennies and a card that says, "Thank you, Mr. Palmyra. Will you please send me my card back?"
And can you give me a steroid relic so I can make a personalized card?
So I would wonder if he would have the same rates in person. Maybe Rich would reach out and see if there's any signing, because the location, I don't want to show it too much on screen, isn't too far from us. It's in the DFW Metroplex. And who doesn't want to see an X-Ranger in Texas?
Well, now I want to see Canseco or Sosa or McGuire or Clemens say, "You know what? We'll autograph your cards for $19.95. We're going to do this eBay style where we're undercutting everybody. So, get your Sosa autographs for $19.89.
I mean, I know I've seen it in the past where players will write, "Hey, as a one-time thing, here it is, but in the future, my signatures or autos are worth $5, $10, whatever."
In the future, how's this, man?
and
Players
that's
say,
fine.
make a donation to this charity and send me proof that you donated to the charity, and I'll sign your stuff. You go online, make a small donation.
This is my next letter to him. Mr. Palmyro, you're lucky I remembered your sorry ass, and I even wanted your autograph. You should be thanking me.
He's still working
requesting
on knowing how to pronounce
free
it
of charge.
But
yeah, it's like, come on, man. Dude, that's the most pathetic thing since I saw him trying to come back at the age of 61 or however old he is last year.
Speaking to downtown, here's mine.
Downtown Yordanon. That's not bad.
They are gorgeous inserts.
Ask Fish. Did you know they actually, I'm sorry, eBay etiquette. Feet aren't needed in a post. This was shared by our own Ben Wilson.
PEDicate.
There you go, PEDicate. I like it.
Petty.
My producer would pick the picture up. There we go. It's an eBay listing of a Jesus Luzardo snakeskin prism parallel with some toes.
Along with, what's that, Bowman in the background being broke, and a PlayStation 4 controller.
First off, this is our little secret. Anybody out there listening, I am going to actively bid on this card, so don't bid my ass up. Let's just get that out there. I want this card, and I'd like to have it under $10. So, please don't be jerks.
Of course.
Okay, continue. Also, we don't want to see this guy's feet.
10. You said $10. What if I bid 11 right now?
I'm not actively bidding on it, so if it goes above that, I'll just now you'll have to sell it to me for 8 because that's just the way the market goes. It goes down.
But no, it's really easy with smartphones. Like, especially you can take a picture and then you can hit like edit, and then you can like shrink it down and crop the picture.
I've accidentally almost got my feet into pictures I've taken before, and it's like nobody wants to see my socks. I'm diabetic. I wear socks all the time, okay? But I really don't want to see this guy's feet. And whatever funky thing his glass coffee table is doing to that. I mean, come on. That's just and you're posting it on eBay. It's not like I took this picture and sent it to you guys, which would still be not acceptable, but at least it's kind of okay, This on eBay.
Well, it's kind of similar to that not safe for work picture I sent Tim earlier today.
That I posted that on my Twitter, and I got the greatest response, which was a GIF of Rex Ryan, kind of doing like look. it was a brilliant tweet of the day response. It was awesome.
Yeah, so let's get to it. Mass Fish of Beckett Media. Our buddy Ryan Cracknell put out a story today. 2020 Topps Now Road to Opening Day Summer Camp Edition.
Why?
A print-on-demand set that's being released in 3 weekly batches and Opening Day 2.0 approaches. It's an unexpected expansion on the original Topps Road to Opening Day team sets that were used during spring training. For this set, Topps is aiming to use as many images as possible from the summer restart. The summer camp edition isn't going to be the team set route. It's going rather to be a 3-week set where they're going to have released 25 cards a week, and each set is $29.99. Parallels are randomly inserted, and they have 3 level numbers of parallels, 5, 10, and 1 of 1s.
I don't want cards of my favorite players wearing a mask. This is stupid. We don't have to make a card set.
But you're going to buy the A's cards, aren't you?
Damn right
buddy?
I am. Damn right. I've already hit up Topps Living Stat to see if he was buying him. He says yes, and he will sell me the A's. But that's beside the point. Do as I say, not as I do. Right? Isn't that the old saying? I mean, I don't want to see this.
It's just another thing, another online, another. Do we truly need this set? If they just release that Mike Trout, like they released the one Mike Trout card, right? Like that's something different, right? Hey, buy this card for $10 and it's gonna, the proceeds are gonna go to COVID research or something, right?
Right.
Like that makes sense.
Yeah, a second ago you mentioned about, we're kind of giving Palmyra a hard time here about, donating it through the mail. Yeah, if you threw this card up there as a single purchase, $14.95, $8, $9, $10 of it, whatever, after costs are going to go donated to such and such organization, this would be great.
Uncle Rich I think that's what they should do. Like that would sell 10,000 cards in a heartbeat. Now you'll just look like Bane.
So not to derail nearly as much as the sleeping gas suggestion for Uncle Rich there. In regards to Ben, did you guys see the update on this?
No.
Beckett wrote about the card that Al-Kaline said that that's not me.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good article to read. To get a chance.
Let's be honest. Voss Brink is pretty famous because he was in that big thing where they were picking the iconic cards, and he was included in that, so he's kind of a big deal.
He is. I mean, he's part of the Saber family, and yeah, he's a good dude. Great follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Pricey Top Loaders. There was someone selling some top loaders this week on Twitter. I saw, and it's a case of Ultra Pro 35-point top loaders. So that's 40. A case is 40 25 packs. So it's 1,000 top loaders, which normally sell for about $2 a pack. They wanted $175 for the case, which basically breaks down to like $4.35 a pack shipped. So even if you had $20 in shipping in this, that's still pretty expensive, but with top loaders. But people are buying them like crazy, and it's like, just wait. The top loaders will come back. Just penny sleeve them up, put them in a box. Don't shake the box. You'll be okay. I can't wait to see. That's just that. I just thought those prices were kind of crazy. I don't know what you guys thought.
It's beyond special.
A lot of it is. I mean, we even had to ask you, what is a fair price for that, right? So a lot of it is just taking advantage of the market, not knowing the difference and not being aware of the market. You can get it,
that's fine, but it's a lot. So just be buyer beware.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you think if you need that, ask around. Just make sure that's a fair deal. Yeah. It's like anything, right?
You know what? If you ever have a question about supply prices, reach out to me, and I'll be as honest and upfront as possible. With what I can pay for top loaders and supplies and stuff, I will do that for you. So,
but if you told me it was $100 and this guy's got it at 200, then I'm going to go ahead and assume that this guy's a little high, right?
Yeah.
But if you're saying 100 and this guy over here is saying, well, I can do it for 90, well, that's within a fair plus or minus, right? That's like buying a soda at $1.69 over at Chevron, and Shell across the street's got it for $1.89. I'm not driving across the street because I'm not going that direction. So it's a lot of it just depends. That's a very large markup, all things considered.
Yeah. So Lucas here got a good deal back in December. That's a pretty fair price. So.
Yeah, but if any of that stuff's manufactured overseas, specifically in China, then I mean you have to consider right now. It's a complicated world we're living in. But all things considered, if there's a plenty of market worth, it's like when toilet paper shot up. People didn't understand why we're being price gouged. We're not. Just stores aren't getting deals from third-party logistic distributors. I mean, that's just the way it goes, right? They're not getting those buy-down prices.
Have supplies.
Yeah, it's like you just got to understand that market is all.
Yeah. There was a great post at Dimebox Man, Nick Perducci. Pacucci? He has a great blog, about dime boxes and stuff, but he actually had his dad write a blog this week. A guest blog post from dad about the horrors of being a retail card vendor in today's hobby, featuring grown men fighting over Series 2. So it's a great post about these guys waiting around to get product and what they go through. We'll put out the link, but I think we all retweeted it at some point. Drop it in the chat here, but take the 2 or 3 minutes and read through it. It is pretty funny and also pretty sad too with what happened and what he experienced. And then the comments on top of it, I commented back saying it's embarrassing as a card collector for that to happen. It just doesn't to me make sense. So it's just gross.
Yeah, no, it's always good to see different perspectives on things. A couple of weeks back, we had that conversation on the Hobby Hotline about Gary V, and we had one caller from one side and another caller from the other side. It's always cool to see different opinions and perspectives. Like we just had Brent on, and he's giving us 20 years of history in a Cliff's Notes version of what it used to be like versus what it is now, and where he ends up on that spectrum and adaptability and whatnot. It's cool just to see the difference of opinions and hear different people, especially if you have an expertise like Brent has that most of us will never be able to come close to. It's awesome.
Yeah. Hobby or retail has just gone to I don't know. It's in bizarro world now. So, oversaturation of the market. At Yanks Chick, as we know her, Suze, tweeted out, has anyone been purchasing the Jeter retrospective cards from Topps? I haven't, but wondering what the demand is like. As you know, she's obviously, her Twitter handle's at Yanks Chick. For me, I just felt like retrospect's been done to death for him. I get that he was supposed to enter the Hall of Fame this summer. Well, my money isn't limitless. I have to choose, and I picked Project 2020. Now, I think that was probably a better move, the Project 2020 cards, over that retrospective set, because I just feel like it's just, like I said, we've had another one, just another set, right, that they're putting out of an individual play. It's just so much. And I think you had a comment, Ben, it's like, as a player collector, it's going to be crushing, especially if you collect a guy like Jeter, right? Or if you collect a guy like a Trout, or you track, they're just all these other things come out about them, and it just after a while, it's like you have to make decisions like this.
Oh yeah, so, I mean, just
especially being the Yankees, the Yankee captain, all that he's meant for them in that era, and Suze especially. It's. So something for us to say for Minnesota or Oakland or whatnot to say, well, it must be nice to have 30 cards a year player, but you're not compounding that based on the amount of sets that are released a year that the Yankees are going to get more attention for, or
sure.
all of these. And yeah, sure, it'd be nice to see the little guy get some love too, which usually doesn't happen. But it's nice to see the perspective of a quote-unquote Jeter super collector say that I'm just out. There's too many that have been done.
Yeah. Well, look at Series 2, right? You have, Mike Trout only checklist, right? How many player only checklists have we seen over the last 3 years, right? Tatis, Bichette, I think Vlad Guerrero had one, Chris Bryant's had one,
Lonzo,
Judge has had one,
Acuna.
Yeah, Ohtani, right? And this is just in baseball. So God forbid you collect more than one sport.
Mike Trout one.
Yeah, but if you're a player collector, especially if there's parallels as well, I mean, these are extremely, granted, okay, well, if I'm only a Cubs guy and then I only get Bryant, then that's all I have to worry about. But the thing is when I look down a checklist, I'm thankful that there's not a A's only player on one of these, because it's just that much less I have to worry about. And it goes back to the point we've made so many times before. As collectors, shouldn't we want to see more? We should be excited the bigger the checklist, but it's just a money drain, especially when you fall down a rabbit hole of. I was talking about this with my dad last night. I showed him some of the finest colors from Topps Finest, and I was like, the greens, I've got 4 of the 7. And at what point do you just go get the other 3? Well, I need Luzardo before I go get Seth Brown and Sheldon Noisy. They're numbered out of 99. It's a A's color, but it's like, that's cool. It'd be fun to have. But then you also have the blue and the purple, but that's just one release.
And I just you pick a color and you run with it, right?
You would have to, right? But then you have Prism and it's 47 colors, and I can empathize with Suze where you just go, I'm out. Enough's enough. My budget's only so big. Especially
when it gets like the Prism where it gets to 7. And how often those cards are going to pop? Where are we going to see those? Like, I don't. Yeah, and it's overwhelming. Like I looked at Brett's checklist from, he retired in 93, the end of the 93 season. And from 94 to like 05 or 06, he has like 3 times the cards in that 10-year span than he did when he played for 20 seasons during the junk wax era, by the way. And so you have to put a hold and pick and choose at some point what you're going to do.
I've done something similar where you tie in Rod Crew, so 67-ish to 85. And the amount of cards that he had from 86 onwards is just ridiculous. I thought about doing, I can pick up all of his and Bly Levin's and Jim Cott's cards and just attack them in a binder by themselves. But when do you call the cutoff? Do you call it 86? Do you call it 87?
Yeah. It has to be something you're comfortable with. And, if I was doing parallel or insert sets, then I would pick a color and move. But I decided when I was doing my Royal sets, I picked like 12 different sets, releases that I like. Mm-hmm. And those, I was just going to do the base sets of those. And if I find the other ones in the wild, like someone trades them to me, or they come in a lot, or if I'm at a card show and they're like in a dime box, I'm not against picking them up and putting them in having them, but it's not an active look for me.
Sure. Think of all the Cubs fans that we know. Do they collect all 100, 150 Wrigley's 100-year of insert set a couple years back?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and if I was a Cubs fan, I would be all over it. I'd have to have it. And
we're going to do the
disease and the sickness. Oh yeah, man! You're going to do.
Urine relic.
Can't wait for the plumbing. The plumbing stuff, yeah.
Anniversary of Moneyball ending because of some team.
But yeah, at some point, and Chris Harris mentioned in the chat, do we need these 30-card tributes to somebody like Rhys Hoskins, or Tatis Jr.? And it's like, no, we don't. They haven't done anything yet. Yeah, you can have some stuff for these guys because they're up-and-coming stars, or may have a bright future, but. Where's our Cabreras and our Pujolses and whatnots, guys that are surefire Hall of Famers? They don't get them because nobody wants to collect that. And by nobody, I mean, the general mass, not obviously, collectors of those particular players. But, that's not what the market wants. Market wants, Jason with 8 S's, Dominguez right now.
Yeah. Chrome. Everybody ready for Chromevember?
Nope.
At Creator Jack tweets out, so November 11th, Stadium Club Chrome. November 18th, Allen and Ginter Chrome. November to be announced, Topps Chrome Black. December 2nd, Bowman Draft, which is driven by Bowman Chrome. And December 18th, Bowman's Best, which is Chrome. That's a lot of refractors.
And then not to mention the announced, we don't have a release date, mind you, but the announced Big Baller Chrome that's coming out.
Well, yeah, if you read the notes, we would get to that surely.
Yeah, Ben. Read the notes.
Like you read.
Nobody listens to stuff anyway. No, it's crazy. And it's like, okay, like this year they decided to dip everything in Chrome. Allen and Ginter does not need Chrome.
Gypsy Queen didn't either.
But that was an insert. It wasn't a standalone release.
No, basically what Topps needs to do is Topps Chronicles and just dump every
shit.
all 37 releases in one.
It's
Mega Jumbo retail hobby boxes. Only $18,000.
One of one release.
One of one.
They need to get the dude that used to hawk wax boxes on QVC, whatever his name was. Him and Gary V battling to sell product on the web on their TV show.
Imagine a world where everything is chrome, chromium,
Sunday.
87 different colors coming at ya.
Colors you've never seen before.
Canary gold, green refractors. We're gonna do them this way and that way. They're gonna be tic-tac-toe, horizontal versus diagonal.
Tic-tac-toe chromes. I love it.
This is gonna be fantastic. You have to have X in every square in order to complete the modern day rainbow.
Shop at home.
We don't need chrome. Everything. Stop. Just stop. If you think it's a good idea, don't. Ask us. We will be more than happy to tell you. And when I say we, I think we can talk for...
They don't get the end consumer.
That's right.
Don West, by the way. There we go.
We're just not woke.
Don West, and then Chromapalooza. I like Chromapalooza. That's what we should call it.
They should have at the O.co. They can have the 1 million pack Chromapalooza.
All Derek Jeter, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, Shohei. It's like 10 players, and it's just
a million packs, 10 players. Everything is chrome. No base ships.
Trent and Jim Rome's there doing the broadcast. So there's more Project 2020 issues. So we've had hair, damaged one touches, upside down cards, cards that have had the one touch little pieces of paper in them. Now shipping issues. So our buddy at John Newman, Sports Card Nation, sent out a tweet. Looks like Top, and this was something he pulled from Facebook. Looks like Top sent someone's AP as the artist proof to the wrong person. Man, is the person who ordered the AP going to be in for disappointment? It was Doc Gooden, numbered out of 20. And this person was just like, I got this AP one, but I didn't order this.
This is awesome. I mean, not in a thanks Tops kind of way, right? This is just awesome because this is getting comical now.
And then watch the breaks. Our buddy Ivan said, I've checked. Did a video. I've checked 4 Griffeys so far. I think it was a Shore Griffey, and all of them have some kind of what he called garbage inside. There were things floating around inside the one touch. But listen, our buddy Blake Jameson came out and tweeted. He goes, if anybody buys my card, shows up damaged in a weird case or anything that bothers the buyer, I'll trade them a pristine version of the same card, signed in black, sealed in a one touch with my hologram sticker. So Blake is making it. Blake said, I'll make it right for you. I'll take care of you. Plus, I'll autograph the card for you, which is pretty cool. So,
no, it's stand up. But see, he shouldn't have to. Once in a while, things are going to happen. A hair might slip in. We talked about that. Somebody like me's packing them out with the beard hair and the whites and the grays that fall out. It's going to happen, but this is happening more and more frequently. And some dude got a card numbered out of 20 that he didn't order.
Which cost $200. And he probably spent $20. This
isn't a goatee hair. This isn't a piece of garbage, as our buddy Ivan over at Go GTS says. This is whoops. That's kind of a big whoops, don't you think? Because now what are they? Are they numbered out of 21? Because you got to fulfill the order to the other guy, don't you?
No, you just give him a refund and say, sorry.
That sucks. You can have the next player, even if it's not your guy. I mean, could you imagine how livid that guy would be if they just said, "Hey, whoops, here's your $200 back"?
See, I'm kind of curious whether because what real recourse does Topps have for those? I mean, do you contact the guy and say, "Hey, here's way more than what it could sell for. Buy it back," and then flip it to the guy who was actually supposed to get this? Let alone it being
they don't care, dude. They don't care.
No, I said what recourse could. I didn't say what recourse are they going to do.
Yeah. I don't know. And I would
They
just chill
don't
by-
care because we still come out there and say, "Here, take my money." I mean, we joke and we joke and we joke, but we're still here buying the stuff. They're feeding the addiction, and we can bitch all we want. Bottom line is, we're still going to buy it. The only way we can talk is collectively with our wallets, and the way we talk about it is we buy more and more and more.
But I love cards, and I can't stop. My friend
true.
who does not collect, I actually had lunch with a person today in public.
No, you
We
didn't.
were able to sit. Yeah,
Pictures.
one of my. I don't, because the pictures we
See?
took were X-rated.
You don't have pictures. It didn't happen.
But we went to lunch, and he doesn't collect cards. He's a huge Ohio State Buckeye guy. And so I've gone through all these collections. Whenever I get Ohio State cards, I just set them aside. So I took them, and he's digging through them going, dude, these are awesome. And we're talking about Adolphus Washington, Mike Vrabel, like a bunch of randos. And he was so excited. And he's like, man, it makes me want to go pick up a box of cards. And I started talking about what they're going for now. And he goes, oh, that's okay. I'm good. But just, yeah. So Steph broke the news earlier. Ben Baller Chromes are coming out. At Ben Baller tweeted, I'm very proud to announce I have my own at Topps Chrome limited edition box dropping this summer. More details coming soon. Thank you to Topps team and MLB for another partnership. Thank you to my agency, XLSM, the best sports agent on earth. So it's going to be Ben Baller. Ben Baller did the cards, and he's going to have some Topps Chrome. I am just really interested to see what the hell it is. His cards look cool. I haven't seen one in person because I haven't picked one of his up yet, but I bet they look pretty nice. But I would just like to see what he does with the Chrome thing, So
No, I was actually looking up the Project 2020 as groups. Our buddy Waxback Hero, Mike Summer, has it on his website. All of them laid out by player and by artist. So if you want to see what Blake Jameson has done so far, or if you'd like to see your George Brett collection, everything that's been released, you can see it either way. He's got it laid out really nice. And as I was looking at it, going artist by artist, I was like, Ben Baller, I think really so far, in just my opinion, has probably the best collection of good-looking cards for the 7 or 8 that he's released thus far. That's just my opinion. But I think if you're ranking them by artist, which I'm sure will happen once, all 400 have been released, for me, I think Ben Ballers are probably going to be in the top 3, along with Blake Jameson's.
Sophia Chang has had some really solid cards, by the way, too.
She's a little too wild for me personally, but that's just, there's a lot going on there. I think her Ricky Henderson was great.
But I think just been, she's had some cards that pop too, and everybody's had that. I think, except for maybe Don C, has had everybody had a card that was like if I was going to own that, if I was only going to pick one card of one player, like if I was going to go to one artist and only buy one of their cards, like everybody does have a card that's gone, oh damn, like that's just a good. Like there was I bought a Tony Gwynn, the one that said Mr. Padre at the palm trees.
Mm-hmm.
And that was done by F.
Yep.
Because I just like the way it looked.
Yeah. There were a couple cards that stood out too. I mean, we can get into this another night, but some of the horizontal versus vertical cards. I think it was Mr. Cartoons.
Best McGuire.
That's horizontal that just it sticks out like a sore thumb. But I actually really liked Don C's Ted Williams. I thought it was a really interesting.
Oh, the Cloud9 thing.
Yeah. It was interesting.
The gold Thomas did not. I remember how everybody said it was the ugliest card they've seen.
Chef, what was that you just had in your hand?
We're not going to go there. It's a Becca. Keep them presses on. Bowman Sapphire 2020. It's been hitting people's doorsteps in the last few days. Phil's Pulls opened 5 boxes a few days ago, and I put the link in there. So, Steph, if you want to share that with everybody. The video, it's a great video. I like watching his videos because, he's done some box wars with this, and you get to see what the cards are. But he pointed out some very interesting things. So, first of all, just to give you some background, this product was offered online at Topps only for $150 a box. Well, it's nearly $500 a box right now. $500 a box for a box that was $150. Phil pointed out some interesting facts for the Topps release. So it's 1 auto per box was what they told everybody when you bought it. But previously, they'd advertised as one auto and one color parallel per box. Well, now when you have the box in hand, the box no longer says one auto and one color parallel per box. It just says one auto per box. If you flip the box over, and I think, Steph, I didn't share, but he shows the back of the box.
I got it right here.
And where the odds are listed. And there is a sticker over the original odds for the odds for the parallels. So all the parallel colors are numbered out of something. And which he says leads him to the idea that they printed more of this stuff because the autographs aren't numbered, but all the parallels were. So you only have you have 150 players in here. You have a certain number of inserts and a certain number of colors. So that leads to only being able to make so much. So they couldn't do the guarantee now. The other issue is that all of the autographs and the cards have a cracked ice feel to them, except for the base blue autographs, which just look like a regular Bowman autograph card, except for the fact that it says Sapphire under the Bowman Chrome logo in the top right corner.
Yep.
Junk.
Huh? And people were paying, like, there was a Jason Dominguez orange out of this that sold for like 20-something grand.
Okay. If I had $20,000 to spend, I got so many. We all have so many better.
And sold it for 20 grand, like, that's awesome. Because I would sell that in a heartbeat. And
Take
think
a bow.
second about it.
Oh,
Done.
yeah. Have fun. Have fun in Maui when they reopen up the world and you can go on a vacation because you bought a box worth a couple $100 and you flip that into and then you still have $15,000 left over.
Or you buy a $500 box and you pull a Bryce Ball autograph.
Speaking of number 225 Dominguez, we're still screen shared. We ask you to share. We ask you to share your hits, and our buddy Tim.
Oh, that's awesome! Good for him.
9 of 25.
So he's now retired.
Yeah,
and he lives on a private island he bought for selling this card.
Let me know
Good
when you're
for
in
him.
Dallas for grading.
Yeah, I mean, that's an ugly card too. No offense to Tim. I mean, it's great.
That helmet.
But yeah,
helmet does not help.
Photoshopped card. It looks like he's wearing his dad's helmet. I mean,
the devil ear flap. He's down at dad's softball team. You know,
it's like Gazoo.
Yeah,
I mean, just think about what you could spend that money on. Think about what you could spend that money on in the hobby.
That buy you right now?
A lot. At least 4.
So speaking of spending some money, there, I thought it was ridiculous. So they have this, in the fact that the boxes are going for $500, and there's these errors and stuff. And I mean, I think Sapphire was the best last year when it was the 32 when they did the 19 draft, and it was 32 cards, no autographs, and 2 parallels in a box.
Yep.
I think that was that was because guess what? It made the parallels mean something.
Yeah.
And that was a great way to release it. And those base cards sold like crazy. And you got 32. Like, it was a good, like, this, you're just, again, they just can't get out of their own way. And they just keep bastardizing everything that they do. Like, now dipping everything in Chrome. When are we going to get Allen and Ginter Transcendent?
Soon. Bowman Transcendent came out this year. I mean, seriously, they had tennis. Didn't they have soccer? I mean, that brings us up to what, 5, 6 Transcendent?
I think they Bundesliga, but that's Panini. Getting a
they had wrestling Transcendent.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Topps, and then you had Topps retired, and now you have Bowman, so you have 3 baseball. I mean, come on, people, make it special. I looked up. I wanted to see Topps finest Matt Olson, who was a short print, and his short print was selling for $20 at auction with 3 days left. And I was just like, first off, I got one for a lot cheaper than that, but I'm like, that's awesome. I think you were making that point, Shep, a couple weeks ago, like 1 or 2 weeks ago. Let's make base valuable again, and to see a short print selling for $20+ out of Topps finest, which is middle of the road. It's a great set, but it's not a high-end product by any means, and somebody's going to get a decent return against their initial buy price. because you're going to sell a short print out of it for $30. Cool.
And I'm telling you, still, if you want to spend like $150 and have a good rip, Topps Finest right now is where you should be. You know what? I'll even say this about Topps Inception. Even though it's around $120 a box right now, and it was like about $80 when it released, even with that $40 increase, the stuff that pops out of those boxes, because that rookie class that they have in there for, they have Lux and Jordan, those guys and the colors that come out of there. Like I told you, I was in that war and I ended up winning 2 boxes, and I bought one, and I ended up with 3 total boxes of those. The colored parallels out of there of rando rookie guys, I've sold in it for a nice amount. Allowed me to keep a blue Lux rookie out of there. I just hold on to it just the baseball season starts to see what he does, because it's blue, it's a Dodger. Yeah. It looks a nice looking card. So
yeah,
I still think those are two where if you're looking for kind of some big hit potential under $200, that's where you could spend some money and have some fun.
And Inception has really great card stock. It's
the back
thicker.
80. Yeah, when you feel like you're holding $5 when you're holding the base card.
Yeah, I mean, I've got
$5 base card, and
I've got green, purple, red parallels. I mean, the colors really pop. It's a really nice product, whether you're buying a box or a secondary.
I just wish they'd bring it back as Bowman Inception. I think that was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was one of the best prospect looking. So they could still do it. They just can't do it together. So pristine. So
they can't do it though. They can't do it because they are limited to how many Bowman products they can release. So you want to make it Bowman Inception again, you have to take something off. What are you taking off? Sapphire?
No.
You have to take something off to put it back on because they're limited.
Bowman Chrome edition.
Yeah, Chrome. I mean, you could do away with one of those, right? Bowman and Chrome can come together, or drop draft.
All three of them. Drop draft.
Draft's too popular.
Bowman
Chrome
best.
would have to. Yeah, Bowman's Best probably goes away. I'd get away to Bowman's Best off Bowman Inception.
I would too. But Bowman's Best looks beautiful. If you check out Ryan Cracknell's preview, the base cards look phenomenal this year. So,
So, pristine. So, at SC Sports Cards 01, tweeted out this, not mine, saw this on Facebook. Where do you think this lands price-wise? It's a 2011 Topps update. Card number US 175 Mike Trout, BGS Pristine 10 Black Label. So, it is a perfect Mike Trout base rookie card. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Yeah. Per the guy that graded it, Becca.
For that guy's eyes.
I mean, literally, what do you think that card's worth?
I got tree fitty.
That's
350.
how much you could get for a raw months ago.
I don't know. It's going to sell for. I mean, if a Dominguez is worth $20,000, okay, out of 25,
$100K.
Yeah, you would have to think that. I mean, how much better is this? I mean, yeah, 80 to 100,000. I don't think is unreasonable.
Yeah,
considering the economics of this hobby, if we said that to somebody else that's not in this hobby, I talk to a lot of economists on a daily basis, weekly basis. If I took this to them and said, "What do you think this is worth?" It just sounds foolish saying 80 to 100K, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't sell for that. Didn't the Ohtani Superfractor sell for like 90?
It was 186.
Oh, was it really that high?
It was almost 200.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not to say that another one can't get this, right? It's not like it's a Superfractor where there's only one. But how many have been graded and haven't gotten this?
Yeah. I mean, it's just the other thing, too, it's one of those cards that everybody knows. Black label. You don't honestly, unless you're Laser Eyes down there in Dallas, do you get black labels all the time?
Right.
So.
I remember you telling me when we were at Teammates here in Sacramento, and they had a Gem 10 87 McGuire for $25, and you're like, dude, come on, you have 500 of these, you could literally grade them all and not get a 10, right? Buy it while it's already graded. It's going to cost you most of that just to pay a grading fee. So I think
ship it back and forth.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're a Trout person and you have resources that are beyond my means, our means, right? What's $100,000 if
I bet Mike McKenna ends up with it.
Yeah.
So
Vegas Dave's going to grab it.
To your point, if you ask someone who doesn't know what's this worth, they probably won't be able to tell you without reading the text there. Here's a promo for Nintendo's console that they were planning to release in association with Sony. Now, this was walked back, and Sony obviously branched off and did their own line with their own console. What would you imagine the prototype goes for?
250,000.
10 grand.
Sold at auction through Heritage, 360,000.
By the way, that's so funny because that looks like an N64 cartridge and a Super Nintendo controller
with the Sony disc drive.
Yeah, looks like a Frankenstein.
They battled. I remember that. I remember hearing about this. They battled the hell out of each other on this, and then Sony just walked away.
And it really kind of screwed Nintendo, at least in relation to a few of their exclusive licenses, because Final Fantasy.
Metal Gear. Was it Metal Gear one of them?
Oh, Metal Gear.
Nintendo went to
Fantasy, because they wanted to release on CD, which had more memory. Nintendo wanted to stay with cartridges. And finally wised up.
Then you got the N64. It was the GameCube, the little mini discs.
Yep.
So, guys, a couple show notes. Next week, we're going to have Nick DeWante at Examine Sports on. So we're going to have him on and talk some baseball with him. And then the following week, we're going to have Bayside Breakers on.
2 weeks after that, 29th.
That. Andrew. There, and that's going to be fun. I have not personally ever really spoken. I mean, we've on Twitter, you can count that, but face to face, like we are right now, doing that. So it'll be great to have grab him on. He's been very generous to all of us here on the show with different things, and does some really nice, really good breaks, and so we're gonna have him on and hang out the 29th. But guys, any final thoughts before we head out tonight? Another fun show here on the About the Cards podcast.
Well, I do know Angela had asked why Rich was doing up too late. There's an easy answer. Our office got a corona case, so Rich is staying home for the rest of the week foreseeably. So it was nice to see him in chat.
I thought he was up buying Celine Dion tickets, and they go live at midnight or something.
Maybe doubtful on Celine Dion, but hey, don't fall. It's nice to see him up. It was great having everyone in chat super active tonight, and rest of us stay safe. Unopened, nothing in it.
Yeah. I just heard it go. Ben, any final thoughts before we head out tonight?
No, it's been a great week, so I'm looking forward. We want to thank Brent Williams for his time. Super busy time. It's like literally calling Santa Claus on Christmas Eve at like 11 p.m. and saying, "Hey, if you're not busy, can you?"
Right.
Really appreciate Brent for his insight. Looks like we might have stale gum on the 22nd of the July. So let's plan for that. That'll be an exciting week. Chris has been supportive of the Hobby Hotline. Boom.
Good deal.
July is booked. But yeah, really excited to have Brent on, and he was very gracious and awesome to hear his insight. Can't thank him enough, and can't wait to get him back on when life allows a little bit more, because it really seems like he
just becomes the fourth host if he gives up breaking.
Well, I saw someone in chat say that, I'd love to hear if he retires, he needs to do his own podcast. I absolutely agree. Between just the questions we were able to ask. I mean, I wanted to ask him what's he think about the short prints in Series 1, Series 2 not being announced as here are these players that are short printed.
Right.
That's kind of bullshit.
Yeah. So we will continue to text him, because apparently he doesn't get enough texts.
I want to say a couple cool things. So, first of all, I want to say thanks to everybody that helped me build the 85 Series 2 insert set.
Mm-hmm.
That's been cool. Ever since they did 87, the 25th anniversary of 87. Actually, when they did in 2012, they did the minis, and that was the first year it came back. I built that set, and then they did the 87. So I built those sets, and then I did the 83 and 84. The last couple of years, I'm still working on those because I wasn't as active in doing those. But I have the series 1 and 2 of 85, and a lot of people helped me out. And majority of the time, it was no, hey, here's the, 4 or 5 cards. Just give me your address. Or it was a very nominal fee. Like, I paid pennies on the dollar for the cards, and I want to thank everybody for that. The other thing is my mom gave me a gift card to Target for baseball cards only for Father's Day. And I went in, and I was at a Target I'm not normally by, so I went in today, and they had 2 Diamond Kings blasters, and I thought instantly of Steph. I was like, I've opened a lot of Series 2, and if that comes out, I'm not going to buy any, but I don't buy boxes of Diamond Kings, except for last year with Steph, and I had fun opening it. So I bought 2 boxes, or 2 blasters, and I pulled out 2 of the 3,000 card inserts. There's 15 of them, and I pulled 2. Guys, I reached out and said, hey, is anybody out there, if you have them, hit me up. I'd like to work out a deal or something. I'm down to having 4 cards and paying almost nothing for them. Because people are like, no, I'll just send them your way. And I'm blown away. Yeah. I mean, this was within 1 hour of me posting. I'm actively looking for these 13 cards, and 9 came my way within minutes. And that's not what I wasn't looking to get free cards. No. I love to trade, and I don't mind, buying stuff at the right price. But people were like, most everybody was like, no, dude, here you go. Like, one guy was like, hey, y'all, I'm looking to, I bought some, looking to sell them. And I was like, okay, what's your price? He goes, well, I don't know. I'm out right now. You seem like you have a good reputation. You let me know what you want to pay for them.
Right.
And so I looked up on eBay and paid a little less than what eBay would have been. And he said sold. And I was like, this is great. But no, it's like, that's what this hobby's been all about. And I love that stuff. So
to that point, this arrived in the mail thanks to now future Diamond Kings addict John P. A great listener to the show. Shot this my way. A couple other cards.
Dude, I got 2 packages this week just from him alone. In the last week.
I've gotten 2 and one's in the mail, apparently.
Yeah. And he keeps finding all these Bretts everywhere, and he's just sending them my way. I'm like, and then so I sent him some Venturas that I had.
Right.
Yeah, I felt so good about a week ago. There was a listener that we had called the Hobby Hotline, and he was talking about his daughter getting involved in the hobby, and Washington Nationals collector. And we reached out and just said, hey, if anybody's got some laying around, and she got so many packages apparently, and she pulled a 1985 Topps relic Marcus Semien out of a pack, and she's like, hey, Dad, can you get a hold of Ben? I really want him to have this as a way of saying thanks. And it melted my heart, because that's awesome. And so I accepted it, and I gave it back to her and said, hey, you keep it. I already have one, but I really appreciate it. Start a PC of players that aren't part of your PC, right? Doesn't have to be a national. Simeon's a great player, and he's a great guy. And it just melted my heart. And just the generosity in this hobby as a whole, you guys, everybody that we've made friends with over the last couple of years and 10 years and beyond, it's just, it's awesome. There's good people, and do something nice for somebody in the hobby when nobody's looking. Grab an address from somebody else and send an RAK, a random act of kindness, and you've got some stuff laying around. Find a new home for it if you don't want it. There's plenty of people that would gladly accept something off your desk and be glad to send you something your way too. And it's just the generosity in this hobby, just it never ceases to amaze me. We've been just a small part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the most fun thing about this. So remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific,
10 Central.
Remember to watch the Hobby Hotline this Saturday, and also check in Mondays. Call in with any questions, comments. We appreciate the support there. That show is built by callers. Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. We hit over 600 YouTube followers today.
Very nice.
So thank you, YouTube followers. We appreciate you there. You can always follow us on Twitter about the cards. Follow Ben at our trading cards. Follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. Follow me at Big Chef 79. Share your hobby stories. Great poll. Send your questions our way. keep collecting, and we'll see you all next week.